TSA just issued emergency holiday screening rules that will catch nearly 90% of Thanksgiving travelers completely off guard. If you're flying anytime between November 22nd and December 2nd, this information is critical. A 8-year-old grandmother missed her family's Thanksgiving dinner in Phoenix because of new rule number 4. She followed every guideline from last year, did everything right, and still ended up detained for 3 hours. Most travelers take it for granted that TSA rules don't alter from one year to another. That's not so. Through interviews with retired TSA administrators and the new November screening policy, I discovered the truth. TSA adjusts procedures every 3 months, and the Thanksgiving 2025 changes are the most radical in 3 years. The misinformation isn't accidental, it's intentional. TSA is counting on travelers showing up with outdated information as they transition to this year's new rules. Here are 7 new TSA regulations that directly affect senior travelers during this Thanksgiving period. Stay to the end, because rule number 3 is already making lines at major airports take an inordinate amount of time, and most travelers are unaware of it. Rule number 7, the hidden powder danger. TSA won't advertise this change, but it's one of the largest this year. Any powder product over 12 ounces is now subject to mandatory additional screening during peak holiday travel seasons. The distinction here, what constitutes powder, has been expanded. Last year, substances such as protein powder could slip past with a cursory eyeball check. This year, officers have to search containers, test samples, and conduct chemical tests on anything that's granular. That includes coffee creamer, hot chocolate mix, electrolyte powder, and fiber supplements. A retired nurse in the Tampa area found out the hard way when her morning fiber powder triggered the new detection system. While legal, properly labeled, and one she had brought along many times before, she nonetheless had 45 minutes of secondary screening. Here's what to do. Keep all powders under 12 ounces per container. Pack them in labeled clear containers before traveling. Place them in a bin alone during screening. Expect to be held up if you have more than one powder item. Send your supplements ahead or purchase them where you're going if you're able. Pro tip, the TSA now classifies anything powder-like as search material. That includes ground spice, crushed pills, and even some makeup products. If in doubt, pack it in your checked bag. And it gets even more complicated with the next rule. Rule number 6, proof of prescription required. This new policy has already caught many senior travelers by surprise. TSA has implemented a verification system for prescription medications throughout the Thanksgiving travel period. The rule states that if you're carrying prescription medication exceeding a 10-day supply, agents may now request proof of prescription. Acceptable forms include the original pharmacy label, a doctor's letter, or a printed prescription copy. The change was in reaction to a 37% increase in medication-related security incidents during last year's holiday travel season. To that end, TSA has reinforced inspection procedures, especially for older travelers. One of those 72-year-old diabetic men at Dallas-Fort Worth was detained for 2 hours because his insulin was in a cooler without the original labels from the pharmacy. Even though he had a doctor-written medication list, it didn't meet the new verification criterion. Here's what travelers should do. Keep all prescription drugs in their original labeled containers. Carry a printed letter from your doctor listing all medications and including their contact information. For insulin or injectable medications, bring the prescription paperwork. Declare your medications before screening using this exact phrase. I'm traveling with prescription medications and would like to declare them before screening. It may feel intrusive, but these precautions are now essential. And if you thought that sounded draconian, wait until you hear what TSA is planning to do with food next. Rule number 5, Grandma's cranberry sauce is off limits. Passengers typically think the 3-1-1 liquid policy is simple and straightforward. But only during Thanksgiving week does it get flipped around, and that's where passengers get stumped. TSA has published holiday food rules, and they're already causing huge havoc inside airports nationwide. Here's what's new. Cranberry sauce, gravy, jams, and any spreadable food now come under increased liquid restrictions. Each jar must be 3.4 ounces or under, and all of them must be packed in your quart-sized liquid bag with your other personal care products. But here's the catch. TSA's definition of spreadable is much broader than most travelers realize. Pumpkin pie filling, soft cheeses, and even some casseroles have been yanked out and seized. One Boston to Seattle grandmother learned this the hard way. Her homemade cranberry sauce, a 40-plus-year-old family recipe, was thrown away by TSA officials. 3 jars, $45 worth of ingredients, and 6 hours of preparation down the drain. She didn't even realize it was being considered a liquid. What you need to remember, all gel or spread foods are liquids. Solid foods such as cookies, bread, and whole pies are fine. Frozen foods are only permitted if they are completely solid at the time of screening. If it can be poured, pumped, spread, smeared, or splashed, TSA considers it a liquid. To avoid problems, pack holiday foods and check luggage or ship them ahead. Pro tip: dry ingredients and baking mixes are allowed in carry-ons, but if you're bringing large quantities, expect extra screening time. Rule number 4, the senior screening lottery. This is the rule that forced that 6-8-year-old grandmother to forego her Thanksgiving feast, and it's among the most controversial new regulations. From November 22nd through December 2nd, the TSA can conduct random upgraded searches on passengers 65 and older. Why the seniors? Because they are less likely to complain or make a scene and more likely to comply with longer screening processes. It's not fair, but it's happening. These enhanced screenings can include full-body pat-downs, detailed carry-on inspections, and additional questioning. They can add 20 to 45 minutes to your screening process, and there's no way to predict if you'll be selected. One retired teacher flying from Chicago to Miami experienced this firsthand. She arrived 2 hours early, just as recommended, but the random enhanced screening took so long that she missed her flight and her airline charged her a $400 rebooking fee. Here's how to protect yourself. Arrive at the airport 3 hours early for domestic flights during Thanksgiving week. Enroll in TSA PreCheck if possible. It significantly reduces your chance of random selection. Stay calm and cooperative if chosen for extra screening. Arguing only extends the delay. Have everything ready: ID, boarding pass, and medical device cards. If you're having a layover flight, book a minimum 2-hour connection during peak holidays. And here's the inside tip. TSA officers have daily quota requirements for heavy screenings during peak travel time. If you fly off peak before 6 a.m. or after 8 p.m., your odds of being pulled aside plummet exponentially. But wait, there's more. The second rule on the list impacts almost every traveler toting electronics, and it's even more restrictive than the last one. Rule number 3, even PreCheck members miss out on this perk. This year, even TSA PreCheck members aren't exempt from new screening rules. It's not laptops anymore. The expanded electronics policy also covers tablets, e-readers, portable chargers with a capacity greater than 10,000 milliamps, and large cameras. Here's the twist. Previously, PreCheck travelers could leave their electronics in their bags for scanning. Not anymore. For Thanksgiving travel, TSA is requesting that everyone, even PreCheckers, remove and place all electronics in separate bins. Why? Airport security last year, during the holidays, saw a 340% increase in prohibited or mislabeled battery devices. TSA isn't taking any chances this year. A 70-year-old photographer who traveled to Denver found out the hard way. He had 6 camera batteries in his carry-on, all within legal limits. TSA agents kept screening them individually, and the procedure was so sluggish that he ended up missing his flight. The delay wasn't non-compliance, it was policy. Here's what you have to do. Remove all electronics larger than a smartphone before you screen them. Place each device in a separate bin: laptops, tablets, e-readers, cameras, portable DVD players, and power banks. Keep battery packs and chargers in a separate bin. Sign each piece of equipment with your name and phone number in case bags get mixed up. Pro tip: put your electronics at the front of your bag so they're convenient to access. Digging through bags wastes time and increases stress. Insider tip: if you have 2 or more devices, send non-essential electronics to your destination. Every piece of equipment you remove from your carry-on speeds you through security and decreases the risk of issues. But this next rule is really harsh. It's grounding passengers, especially older people, before they ever get to security. Rule number 2, the license that won't work anymore. This rule has been delayed a few times, but TSA has now promised it's finally happening. And if you're not ready, you may be turned away from the airport this Thanksgiving. Here's the issue. Most tourists, and particularly elderly tourists, still haven't heard their driver's license may not be Real ID compliant, even when it looks fine. If your license has no star in the upper right, it won't be accepted on domestic flights from November 20th. The confusion is rampant. An Atlanta vet who is 68 learned the hard way. He arrived at the airport with a valid Georgia driver's license dated 2022, but not Real ID compliant. TSA refused to let him board, and he missed having dinner with his daughter on Thanksgiving. He had to drive 9 hours instead. And to add to the complexity, many DMV offices now book Real ID appointments 6 to 8 weeks in advance. So if you are viewing this towards the end of October or beginning of November, you might not have sufficient time to get one in time for Thanksgiving. Your emergency plan of action is below. Verify your driver's license this instant for the Real ID star symbol. If you don't have it, check your state DMV website to determine if appointments are being offered. Your passport or passport card can be used as a substitute for domestic flights. Military identification and permanent resident cards are accepted too. If you are unable to get a Real ID appointment, expedite your passport renewal processing takes 2-3 weeks. And here's an anecdote most folks are unaware of. If your license is not real ID and you are unable to get an appointment, apply for a passport card on the web. It's approximately $30, arrives in 2 to 3 weeks using expedited service, and is acceptable for all domestic flights. Don't allow a minor license issue ground your Thanksgiving travel plans. Check now and not the day before your flight. Next up, the last rule, and it's the most crucial one of all because it applies to every single senior traveler traveling this Thanksgiving. Rule number 1, why 2 hours early isn't early enough. This is the rule that separates the prepared travelers from those who don't make their flights. TSA has just issued its official holiday travel guidance, and for older travelers, the standard 2-hour rule of arrival simply isn't enough from November 22nd to December 2nd. Here's why. It's a combination of record-breaking passenger volume, new screening procedures, and the higher likelihood of secondary screening for older adults that has created the perfect storm for airport wait time. The numbers bear it out. Last Thanksgiving, 23% of travelers aged 60 plus missed flights because of security screening wait times, not weather or traffic. TSA hopes to reduce those numbers this year by offering realistic arrival expectations for older travelers. A Phoenix couple flying to Boston learned this the hard way. They arrived at the airport 2 hours early, just as recommended, but the security line took 90 minutes. They missed their flight by 12 minutes and had to pay $800 to rebook, plus an overnight hotel stay. Here's your complete arrival plan. For flights departing November 22nd, 24th, the peak travel days, arrive 3.5 hours before domestic flights and 4.5 hours before international flights. Use your airport's mobile app to check real-time security wait times before leaving home. If waits exceed 45 minutes, leave even earlier. Keep your ID and boarding pass ready before reaching the checkpoint. Every second counts during peak hours. Enroll in TSA PreCheck. If you haven't done so, the $78 fee easily pays for itself in time, saved on a single trip. Fly on off-peak days. Thanksgiving Day itself and the subsequent Saturday have security lines up to 60% shorter than on Wednesday or Sunday. Insider tip: most airports open their security checkpoints earlier during Thanksgiving week. Call your airport 4 to 8 hours before your flight to confirm opening times. You can go through security as early as 4 a.m. for a 7 a.m. flight and avoid the crush entirely. This single strategy, arriving earlier than you think you should, has saved so many Thanksgiving trips. Yet still, year after year, thousands of travelers show up with only a 2-hour buffer and pay the price. Now, here's what most neglect after they've made it through security. Critical gate mistakes. During Thanksgiving week, these errors translate into lost seats, lost overhead bin space, and even their entire trip. Airlines intentionally overbook holiday flights by as much as 15%, and most travelers are denied boarding simply because they're not aware of their rights. Before your Thanksgiving flight, make sure to watch this video. It exposes how airlines secretly manipulate oversold passengers and reveals the one sentence that guarantees your seat when they try to bump you. See you there.